answered it in case it was an emergency. Long story short, he said he was returning my calls. He received 2 FaceTime calls from me 1 minute prior, but couldn't answer since he was showing his friend something on his phone. After we hung up, I checked my outgoing calls, and sure enough, I tried FaceTiming him twice. It still gives me chills, and neither my boyfriend nor I have an explanation for it. At the same moment, I woke up to hearing my nickname being whispered. My boyfriend was getting FaceTime calls from me. I wonder what he'd see if he answered. That's a good one. That's creepy. Okay, I don't want to know what you would see if he answered, so it's a good thing he didn't. So most of these, I believe, are pretty short. So kind of a break in some of our longer videos that I can sometimes read or find to read. I think the last video, they were pretty long, so this will be a little bit different. And this next story is by Tanya Hylion. Hopefully I said that right. And it is titled, I Glitched into a Different Timeline's Bathroom. So this past winter, I, 27 female, went with my mom on vacation to a very small town in the middle of a huge ecological park that consisted of kilometers upon kilometers of desert. It's not the first time we've gone there on vacation. We just love how calm and quiet it is, the beautiful scenery, and the kind people who live in that town. Now, since it's a very small town, there's just one hotel with 5 rooms and 3 bathrooms. 2 of the 3 bathrooms are inside the restaurant that's attached to the hotel, and to get to them from any of the rooms, you have to pass various sets of doors. Because of this, at night we only used the other bathroom, which was a metal door on the other side of a small patio. I remember that the first day at the hotel, I went to the bathroom, and when I tried to close the door, I couldn't close it fully because there was a crack on the wall the door was attached to. There had been an earthquake a few years prior, which was probably the culprit for this crack. Since the last time we'd stayed at the hotel many years ago, it wasn't there. As a result, we had to tie a string from the lock to a nail in a wall inside the bathroom in order to close it, and even then, it never fully closed. It annoyed me, but we weren't paying much, and we were the only ones staying at the hotel anyways. Well, here's how the glitch happened. It was our 3rd day staying at the hotel, and we had just come back from a walk up a nearby mount. Very small, the walk barely lasted an hour. It was still fairly early night, around 10 p.m., and my mom said she was going to get ready for bed. I told her to go ahead because I wanted to stargaze for a little while, taking advantage of the cloudless sky. I did so for about half an hour or so, before deciding it was time to also get ready for bed. I went to our room, got my toothbrush and toothpaste, and then went to the bathroom. As soon as I stepped inside, everything felt off. I reached for the light switch, but it wasn't there. I searched for it to no avail, and then, when my eyes got used to the darkness, I saw it was on the opposite wall, the one that had a crack, except when I turned on the light, I realized there was no crack. As so, I was able to close the door earthquake didn't happen. The wall didn't crack, and the light switch wasn't moved to the other wall. It was a very surreal experience, and the more I stayed there, the more nervous I became. So I hurried up, turned off the light, and pretty much sprinted towards my room. My mom was already asleep, so I decided not to bother her, but it took a while before I could sleep because I was feeling very unnerved. The next day, with the sun now illuminating everything, I went back to check on the bathroom that had scared me so much the previous night, but it was exactly as it should be, crack and all. I haven't been able to make sense of this situation despite how much I've thought about it. That was a good one. That's creepy. I don't know what I'd do. I'd like question my reality of if I experienced the bathroom the first time correctly and then experiencing it as this person was while brushing their teeth. I would be questioning myself the whole time that I had some weird perception the first time around, and then the next day that would just throw me off even more, and I would probably just end up questioning myself again and saying like, oh, I was really tired the night before, so I got it wrong again. I don't know. I would just be doubting myself, but that really does capture, in my opinion, the being a glitch in the Matrix. Okay, this next one is by Anian97, and it's titled, My Dad's Life Was Saved by a Man in the Glitch. And it starts, this is from 10 years ago. I was in school and used to live in a small town in India. My dad had a business for which he had to frequently travel to the national capital. The only train that would arrive back to the town within the same day from the capital would arrive in the nearest city 20 kilometers away by 10 p.m. So this one time he was coming back from the city after arriving from the capital. My dad's brother, my uncle, was also in the same train, but he decided to come back home in a bus, and since my dad had taken his scooter to the train station, he was going to ride back home. There was a neighbor's kid who asked my dad for a ride back home, and my dad agreed. There were no streetlights working that day. It was very dark, and the area was full of industrial trucks. Unfortunately, there was a big trailer, trucks that carried cars, etc., parked on the main road diagonally. With no streetlights and a speed of 50 to 60 kilometers, my dad's scooter bumped right into the trailer, and the front of the scooter literally crushed. It was a horrible accident. The neighbor's kid was luckily and magically safe and didn't get a single scratch. Some vehicles kept passing by, but no one stopped to help. Then came a big black SUV. A man in his late 30s stepped out with the neighbor's kids, helped this has to be a joke or something, but my uncle confirmed that he saw the exact same man. Has to be the biggest glitch of my life. To date, we don't know who saved my father. Well, first of all, I'm so glad that your father's okay. Some of the comments are saying that maybe it was someone who didn't want to be associated with the accident in case they were to get implicated falsely for a compensation claim, which that could definitely explain it in the, tangible sense. But let's just say it was a glitch in the Matrix. And this next one is by Owl Cries, and it is titled "Suitcase was sealed shut with lock and keys." And it starts, "This is an unexplained phenomenon from about 5 years ago. My partner and I took a road trip from Florida to North Carolina, and we decided to drive straight through. We stopped once or twice for gas, and the car was always monitored by one of us. We had 2 suitcases in the back seat. Mine was on the bottom. When we arrived in North Carolina, we both had the distinct feeling that there is no way 10 hours had passed. We both kept exclaiming that it felt like we went through a time portal, and we were confused at how quick the car ride felt. I remember actually trying to recount the audiobooks we listened to and piece together how it was possible that 10 hours had passed. Well, we arrive at the place we're renting and put our suitcases in the room. While I'm in the shower, I hear my partner exclaiming and freaking out. I get out of the shower to see what it's about. He's crouching over the suitcase, utterly confused. The zipper is sealed shut with a plastic loop and 2 tiny metal keys, like the keys that come with a diary or perhaps a tiny lock on a brand new suitcase. There was no way to open the suitcase without breaking the plastic loop. He starts freaking out and asking the people in the house we were renting if they were playing a trick on us. They look at us like we're crazy. Finally, we open the suitcase, and all of my stuff is still in it. Okay, first of all, my suitcase was on the bottom of the 2 suitcases. Someone would have had to get into our car while we weren't looking, and like I said, we never really left the car, to put this plastic loop with keys on it. And why would they choose the suitcase on the bottom? And who would do this? This was an old suitcase I had used many times, so it's not like something I just never noticed was there. Second, even if it was sealing the zipper closed, and I had even grabbed a sweater out of the suitcase during the trip. This is a completely unexplained mystery." That's a good one. Yeah, definitely unexplained. Creepy. And unexplainable. That's a glitch in the Matrix for you. Okay, and this one is by Disturbed Serenity, and it is titled "Glitch/Time Slip?" And it says, "This was the weirdest experience I have had to date, and I still get choked up and emotional when I think about it. It was 2010, and I was 25 years old, living at home with my very supportive parents who were helping me through college, after previously dropping out of high school and having 2 amazing children. It was an early autumn afternoon, around 4 to 5 p.m. I was in my room doing some homework on my laptop at my desk. The desk faced the wall directly across from my bed, and my older style box TV a switch flipped. My entire environment changed. This still affects me, still to this day. I still feel it in my soul that something strange happened. I didn't hallucinate. It was real. I was back in my childhood home, some 20 miles away, and seemingly 18 years in the past. I was standing in front of the only hallway closet in the one-bedroom house that I grew up in. The house was over 100 years old, and the closet was one of those with the doors that slide open on tracks. You know, the ones that the doors never go back on the tracks, right? So you must be careful of how you open it. Anyway, the door to the closet was open, and my already outstretched left arm was reaching towards a very distinct item. When I was little, my mother had this perfume bottle that, for some reason, I was absolutely in love with. The perfume itself was cheap and didn't smell particularly good to me. The bottle was glass and shaped like a bird, maybe a dove. Its wings were up and outstretched. It was beautiful, but it had a broken wing. I probably broke it, being the curious and clumsy child I was, and still am. So, there I was, one moment in my somewhat modern bedroom in 2010, the next in the old one-bedroom hallway across the county, back in time 18 years. I was there. I saw the bird bottle. I was within inches of grabbing it. My heart melted for that dumb little bottle of stinky perfume shaped like a one-winged dove. Before my hand could actually make physical contact with that precious bird, the switch flipped again. I was back in front of my TV, outstretched left hand and all. My mind could not comprehend what had just happened, and I felt immediately sick and dizzy. I was in such a state of shock and confusion that I just walked out of my room, down the hall, into the living room, and out into the front yard. I could do nothing but lurch over, hands on my knees, and try desperately to catch my breath, but mostly my sanity. This experience was so jarring, so real. I was physically in front of that open closet, reaching for that dang bird bottle. Then I wasn't. I wasn't particularly stressed about classes. It was community college. I'm not prone to hallucinations, and was stone cold sober when this experience happened. I've only told a few people because honestly, the subject of momentarily teleporting through time and space doesn't come up in conversation often, and I only know a few people that I can tell. Has anyone had anything like this happen? I still have no explanation, and it might have just been a weird break in psyche, but it was not a dream, and I was not under the influence of anything or under any unusual stress. Like severe deja vu, but if they feel like legit, like transporting, it wasn't just a memory, they were there. I don't know, maybe something from the present and past synced up and switched to present and past you momentarily. I don't know. I don't know how the whole time, all of that time travel matrix, yeah. There's so many iterations of like what years of having it, I've removed it twice. Once when I had an MRI in 2021, and the same week again when I had surgery, and every single piece of jewelry had to be removed for the procedures. Afterwards, I stopped wearing all of my other jewelry, like the many layered necklaces I used to keep around. It was just this one ring and one little blue stud I wear on my right ear. Seriously, the second I was out of surgery, I was asking for my ring back because it comforts me to have it on. Now, as had happened to a few people during the pandemic and lockdown, I gained a bit of weight. Not so much that I've had to remove the ring altogether, but enough that I would have to scrub with a decent amount of soap and warm water to pry it off. All that to say is that this ring stays on very snugly. Last month, I went on a trip with my friends to Mexico, and I had quite a few drinks one night, and I came home to take a nice long soapy shower. A few days later, when I got home, I realized that my ring was missing. I was quite upset about it, since I loved it, but I couldn't do much because I assumed it had fallen off when I had been scrubbing the day off me in the long shower I took. So fine, nothing to do. Not until the next time I head back to that exact same spot in Mexico and ask the nice Airbnb owner to let me search the shower, right? A couple of days ago, I was making dinner at my parents' house, not even my house, and when I cook, I always use a special fancy salt that I love because I'm pretentious like that, but we had completely run out. I asked my mom where her table salt was, and she, also someone who never uses it, wasn't sure. So she said to just hunt around the cabinets. I found an almost finished container of salt at the back of the pantry, one that only had tiny salt holes in it unless you screw the entire top off. And the top had probably only been taken off once ago when it was first bought to remove that layer of foam/paper that protects the opening. I went to go salt something, and guess what I found sitting inside the box? And they say 2 pictures below, and it's a picture of their ring. And they continue, I have never once touched that box of salt. Never opened it. Always use my salt. There isn't even a hole big enough in it for the ring to get inside. Even if I had been the one to open the salt for the first time, it would have been months and months ago because the container is almost finished and I don't usually cook at my parents' place. Plus, I was still wearing the ring as recently as late February. I have no idea how this happened, and it's just been sitting with me and making me laugh since it happened. Luckily, this wasn't a scary glitch, but it feels odd to think that I just may have lost a moment of time somewhere, somehow. Yeah, that's exactly like what I shared, things showing up or reappearing when we've thought we've lost it, and not knowing how that happened. That was a good one. Okay, so this last one is by Mystery Chic 88, and it is titled Time Loop. And this one begins, something happened a few years back that I can't shake and would really love some kind of explanation as to what the heck happened, as it has played on my mind ever since. Let me just clarify before I start, I am completely sound of mind. I just want some closure, I guess. So here it goes. I have always been into the paranormal as a kid. I was completely fascinated by it. kids, it is a favorite pastime in our house. Once I had gotten the cards out and started shuffling them, she asked me to look at the time on my phone as she had to work the next morning at 7 a.m. and needed to be home at a reasonable time. She had lost her phone on a night out a few days previous. I told her it was 6:10 in the evening. She replied, "Okay, well, I'll be getting off around 8:45 to get my uniform washed and dried, so keep an eye on the time for me." I agreed, and we started playing a bit of rummy to start with. Now, we weren't drinking alcohol or taking any drugs. We were just having a relaxed game of cards, chatting about guys and work, the usual stuff, I suppose. Everything was normal. We played cards for what felt like 2 hours, easy. I mean, you can't mistake that length of time when you have had about 16 to 18 hands of rummy. And we were in the early stages of playing a game of poker, having gotten bored of the other game. Out of nowhere, I remember having the weirdest feeling come over me, like the light in the room dimmed, and I distinctly felt an electrical crackle start at the bottom of my spine and shoot all the way up to my skull. Tingles. I physically jolted upright. The sensation was so intense. I looked at her, and she was looking at me all wide-eyed and silent, like she knew something was up. I blurted out, "Something is wrong, really very wrong." Without blinking or reacting in any other way, she just says to me, "Look at the time," which I thought was the weirdest response. I picked up my phone, looked at the time. A mixture of shock and dread creeps over me. "That can't be right. It's not possible," I mumbled out loud. My phone must have glitched out or something. Getting up to turn the telly on to see what the time is on there, she is looking at me like, "What the heck is going on? What is it? What's the time?" she asks me again. I just repeat that it can't be right, and as I switched on the telly, the time flashes up in the corner of the screen. It said 6:29. She sees it and is now just as freaked out as I am. "That can't be right. Did your phone say the same time?" I showed her the screen. I pull out a laptop to check the time, and even got a watch out of my drawer to see if they all matched, and sure enough, they did. There was no possible way that we had been sat playing cards for just 20 minutes. I asked her how long she thought we had been sat there for, and she said a couple of hours, like myself. We just sat there with a bit of a fog, like, what on earth understand